Today, some of the major presidential candidates in the 2027 presidential race debate issues that may be a major factor for the determinant of who becomes president in 2027 on the stage at the NBA conference in Port Harcourt. And every criticism as opposition alignment gaining momentum ahead of 2027. They're asking, what has Tinubu really done? Does he deserve to be re-elected? Opposition are moving stronger. We'll be finding out tonight. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimale live for you here in our Abuja studio. So much for us to dissect tonight. And, one of the swing states in most of the election that we have seen is Kwara State. There was a conversation that started on Friday, and it's causing a lot of stir in Kwara politics. And there seems to be a lot of moving parts and a lot of forces are really moving in the direction of that conversation and the debate as to the Kwara governor, the political handling of things in the state, and governance. Tonight, we'll be deepening that conversation. But of course, there are a lot of people who are asking questions about the APC Presidential Campaign Council. Some of the issues raised about and the criticism will get our attention tonight, and the critical questions of whether Bola Tinubu really deserve a second term. Before we get into all of that tonight, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
Former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan says there's an urgent need for African countries to turn their national and human resources into productive industries. Speaking at the graduation lecture for Course 34 of the National Defense College, Mr. Jonathan explains that Africa's failure to build strong industrial capacity is being identified as not just an economic challenge, but a strategic security concern. He links unemployment and economic exclusion to insecurity, including violent extremism, organized crime, piracy, and communal conflicts. The Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, has read the riot acts to persons who engage in what he describes as acts of jungle justice, saying the Nigerian police force will not tolerate any form of mob action. Mr. Disu, who disclosed this in an interview in Abuja, says the rising cases of mob action in some parts of the country is becoming worrisome, and the police will not allow people to take laws into their hands under any guise. He insists that anyone caught engaging in a mob action will be made to face the full wrath of the law, as arrested suspects are presumed innocent in the eye of the law. Ahead of the presidential election fixed for January 2026, a former Senate leader and chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Ali Ndume, is asking chieftains of opposition parties to focus on ideas and issues that will sell their candidates, rather than smear campaigns targeted at the incumbent president and candidates of the ruling party, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In a statement issued to newsmen in Abuja, Senator Ndume says some opposition figures have expressed concern over the academic credentials of President Tinubu, which was silent on his primary and secondary schools he attended. Citing Section 131D of the 1999 Constitution, the former Senate leader insists that the Constitution only establishes a minimum educational threshold, but it does not insist on the particularity of a secondary school certificate as the only means by which that threshold can be met. The lawmaker representing Gombe Central Senatorial District, Senator Danjuma Goje, has denied defecting from the All Progressives Congress. The former Gombe state governor made the clarification while addressing supporters in Hausa language at his residence in the state capital. However, the lawmaker says he is yet to decide whether he will seek another term in the Senate in 2027, explaining that consultations are still ongoing. Senator Goje has represented Gombe Central in the Senate since 2011 after completing 2 terms as governor of Gombe State. He urges his supporters to remain calm and consider all candidates and political parties ahead of the election. Stakeholders of the Ikotekpene senatorial district have reaffirmed their commitment to the development of the district and pledged continued support for President Bola Tinubu, President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Umo Eno. The stakeholders made the commitment at Ikotekpene Senatorial District Stakeholders Meeting in Ikotekpene. The meeting brought together political leaders, elders, and other stakeholders from across the senatorial district to deliberate on issues of development, unity, and political future of the people. In a communique issued after the meeting, the stakeholders commend President Bola Tinubu for his administration's policies and programs, particularly those they considered beneficial to the people of the senatorial district and Akwa Ibom State as a whole, promising to mobilize support for him in the 2027 general election.
Thank you so much, everyone. There you have it, your political roundup stories. Let me take you to Port Harcourt, where we saw some of the major political presidential candidates ahead of the 2027 election took to the stage at the NBA conference in Port Harcourt. And they've been debating issues of reforms, economic situation in the country, what they will do better if they're elected into office, the issue of subsidy regime, and what they will do differently. At different times, some of the presidential candidates took turns to explain their stance on some of these issues.
I became governor. There was not a single school of nursing accredited in Anambra State. Today, go to Anambra State, we have the highest number of schools of nursing, midwifery, and any other state. We have 3 teaching hospitals. 3 teaching hospitals, from our own university teaching hospital to Iyenu, to Oboromio, that teaching hospital today, because of that decision I took. So it's very simple. If I get into government, anytime the sectors will annoy, if annoying them means that we will do well, we will do that.
The poor people of this country only benefit from subsidy from petrol, gasoline. There is no subsidy on kerosene. What did they build with it? There's no subsidy on A1 jet fuel. What did they build with it? Please, don't let these politicians lie to you. I love one thing that Amechi said. He said, apart from Showore and Adebayo, the rest of us have been in government and we have failed. They have no business coming back. Yes. It is, you guys should be apologizing to the Nigerian people. Let me say one more thing.
Stop lying.
Let me say one
Stop
more thing.
lying, Showore.
No.
I said judge us by our achievements.
No, I'm adding failure to it.
Say so. Say so. Don't put it.
One other thing I want to say is that when it comes to subsidy, right, transportation policy is important. We have a former governor of Rivers State here, Amechi, who built a rail line that went nowhere. If that rail line was working, subsidy would have been working for the people of Rivers State.
Playing to the gallery will not make you win the election. You will not win. Now, why Showore will not win is not you shouting. There are no more than 24,000 lawyers who are here. And there are 93 million voters. So 24,000 should vote for Showore and see whether he will win. That's not the issue. Let's go to what he said. Who are those from Lagos? There is Lagos Ibadan Railway is working or not? In my time, it was working. I don't know what's happening under Tinubu. There is Abuja Kaduna Rail working or not?
What happened?
Now, where are Rivers lawyers? Please take Showore around. Where are the Rivers lawyers who are present? Take Showore around.
Okay.
Showore, I said I built that road. I built this road. I built this primary school. I built that primary school. Showore, what is your experience?
All right, go for
when politicians are talking, go to your mouth.
Yes. You have.
Some of the drama which play out earlier today, why the presidential candidate debating issues there. So Kwara politics is entering a defining season, and it's one of the states that you need to look out for. Because 7 years after the O2 Girl movement dramatically drew the state's political map and swept the APC into power, another battle for government house is taking shape. This time with succession, zoning, performance, and the question of whether the opposition can mount a credible challenge all firmly on the table. With Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak approaching the end of his tenure, attention is shifting to what comes next, and the ADC is saying it is ready to offer an alternative. Tonight, I'm being joined by a former spokesperson of the House of Reps and the ADC Kwara governorship candidate, Honorable Zakir Mohammed, who is live for us in our studio. It's a pleasure having you join us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
You saw the conversation with Senator Saliu Mohammed on Friday, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I didn't watch it, but I saw the snippets, right, eventually.
What do you make of what is happening in the state at the moment?
No, it depends. A lot of things are happening. Insecurity is there. There's hunger. There is politicking too. I don't know which of them you want me to talk about.
Let's get
insecurity,
talking.
particularly.
You are from Kwara North.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are those who are thinking maybe it is time for Kwara North.
Yeah.
Do you think it's
that because since 1999, I think there's no northerner who has become a governor, and there's over 29 years. It's just fair that somebody from there comes up, because democracy itself is all about, yes, they will tell you its numbers, but at the same time too, it's about collaboration. And of course, when you have collaboration, that's when you have rest of mind. Then, of course, things would governance will be easier, and that's exactly it. So, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's long overdue for the North to get a governor. We're not just saying that they should give a governor. You look for a competence is very important, and still we have people who can compete with anybody in any part of the state, and
including yourself.
Yeah, because I mean, you can't get it very wrong. I believe that no one zone can produce a governor without the other. There must be collaboration. If you are from Kwara North, you need the Central, you need the South. If you are from Central, you need the South, you need the North to become a governor. You can't, no one part of Kwara can produce a governor.
But you know, Kwara Central has always predominantly, overwhelmed the space politically, because the number, there is that presence of the voting population in Kwara Central.
Far from it.
And where Kwara Central goes most of the time is where the
I
votes
think far
go.
from it. Let me tell you, go and look at, voting itself is about blocking. If you produce a block vote, it gives a direction. And over time, even the votes in the Central, because of the urban nature of the Central, it's not bulk. It's shared between, yes, one party would have the upper hand, but it's shared between parties. And because it's an urban center, you cannot say that that vote goes to a particular party or a particular group. Maybe those in the North have not risked it in the past. And I believe power is not served a la carte. You need to seek for it. And especially if you think you have the wherewithal, you have the qualification and the experience. Yeah.
From 1992, 1993, where we had Shaba Lafiaji, that's the closest we have seen. And there are those who make reference to, talking about Kwara North, getting to the government house. And there are those who will say, perhaps one of the other highest or higher position that we have seen in Kwara North is Ibrahim Bio, who was a former minister. Then Jamila, the daughter, also became a minister for youth. Yeah. And those who say Kwara North has gotten a back end of the stick as far as political power sharing.
But those things are appointments, and it has the behest of the appointer to appoint whoever he wants. So you cannot premise this on elective office, especially having to be the governor.
So that's the reason why
if you compare the three zones, Kwara North is backward. Infrastructure deficits have been there, and of course it needs somebody who understands it to be able to take care of certain things. And what the Kwara North need now is about the deficit of infrastructure being fixed. Then it will assist the state itself. That's the only state, I'm sure, in North Central that shares border with a neighboring country, Benin Republic, northern part of Benin Republic. a lot of revenue can come in there. And if you go and check the statistics in custom, the highest revenue that comes in from that zone comes in from Kwara, and particularly Barutinka area, because they are by the border.
You look at the situation, and you are from the Bukola Saraki School of Politics.
Yeah.
You literally worked closely with him for a very long time.
Yeah.
You went to the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
I see what is happening in Kwara today. APC had his ticket with the Speaker of the House, and there's a lot of infighting there. There are those who had aggrieved, and that's the point where Senator Saliu Mustafa is saying that there is a lot of infighting, a lot of aggrieved persons. Some of them are moving out. Senator Saliu Mustafa, for example, has gone to the PDP. Now, there seems to be a wave towards Bukola Saraki political dynasty. Do you think this in some way might injure your own kind of opportunity? Because you know what Bukola Saraki, and you know your brother also, who is the ticket bearer of the PDP in Kwara State. Do you have a chance?
The PDP, the ADC. No, let's see. The election in 2021 will be about individuals, not even the party. Because unfortunately, Kwara is a giant, is a crawling giant. The state was created in 1967. But what do we have on ground? Do we have those things to say that it deserves a state that has stayed that long? The answer is between me and you, and it depends on the evaluator. So we believe that let Kwara funds, Kwara State's funds, let it stay in Kwara, so that we can catch up with the rest of the states that have been created by 1967. So for me, politics, there's no permanent friend in politics or permanent enemy. Interest differs from time to time. You alluded to Senator Saraki as, he's my guy in politics, but of course he's in PDP now, I'm in ADC, so it's about conviction. I think he's convinced, that's why he's in PDP, and I believe that I may not be able to go with the ties of the PDP and I move to the ADC. That's okay. I mean, there should be decency in politics.
But the Speaker is there, Kaleka, who of the PDP.
No, it's in the central, yeah. Kaleka lives from the central.
Yeah, I know.
The Speaker is from the north, like.
But I'm talking about his popularity.
Well, popularity, it would be unfair to me to ask me the question about who is popular amongst all us. It would be very unfair. It's like giving me an expo. And I think that is a job you can do with your ego eye as a journalist. So, but what I'm sure is that I believe that I'm the most qualified in terms of having the executive and legislative experience. As far as I'm concerned, Kwara is looking for a leader, not somebody who would be guided. Kwara needs a leader who can try to at least translate the pan-Kwara nature of the state so that we can have development. Let hands be on deck. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think I have any enemy in my politics. And everybody's a friend as far as we can collaborate and be able to form a state that is varied.
So it's going to be a question between you and the Speaker who can galvanize Kwara North. Because they say you have split the vote of Kwara North.
Yeah, the people say that, but they're forgetting the fact that some of us have stayed our lives in Kwara. I schooled there, I worked in Kwara, and of course I had political appointments in Kwara. I've stayed my life in Ilora, except coming to Abuja to come and be in the House of Reps. I was commissioner there, I was SA, I administered football. I was commissioner for sports. People are just looking at it from geographical extraction. It's not everybody that comes from your geography that we will vote for you. No, it's far from it. It's possible somebody who you think is from your village might decide to vote for somebody else. So it depends. As far as I'm concerned, I believe that I am the most qualified because I was in the legislature, I was in the executive. So I'm better placed to see the issues rather openly, rather than fighting people's fights.
And you can outplay your master this time around?
No, you won't call me. You won't call him my master. As far as I'm concerned, politics itself is very dynamic.
Bukola Saraki may not be on the ballot, but he is in the ballot.
Yeah, but you know,
and that sentiment is there.
No, politics is not about individual. It would be unfair to even him.
No, I'm saying I don't learn enough to be able to outplay the master? That's the question.
Why are you looking at it that way? It's showing you have
he taught you politics, he didn't.
Yeah, you have taught people broadcasting. I don't know how to do broadcasting more than you.
So you think that
Then what I think, the whole thing is about your approach to people. Politics, the ingredients of politics are the people. How can you convince them? What interaction will you do with them? So it wouldn't be unfair to even himself if you are dragging him into this because he's not in the ballot. Yeah, he has somebody on the ballot. But what I'm looking at is to say that Kwarans will be the deciders eventually. Kwarans will decide, okay, there are options. Okay, which out of these options can take us out of this moment?
I mean, considering that ADC has had shambolic outings in the last...
No. See, people, you see, because Nigerians forget too easily. You remember when we formed the APC and we had off-season elections before the election? People wrote APC off. But when it came to the general election, APC won. So, for me, off-season elections might not be the definition of the strength of parties.
But this is not one, this is not two.
It doesn't matter.
Different elections.
Go back and look at
ADC.
Go and look at the records at the build-up to 2015. What happened to APC? Exactly. So for me, Nigerians are just studying for the spur of the moment. Let's reflect back. That guides our history. There's a pattern.
But does the ADC have a chance generally? And I'm not talking about Kwara now. At the national
level. Very well. Because let me tell you.
The article, the Rotimi Amechi factor, can it swing vote? Where would the numbers come from? Where are the figures? And you know political science. You understand the psychology of
you brought me as a guest. Ask me a question.
Yeah,
let me answer the question.
Yeah, let me land on the question.
Were you voted for as a class monitor? No.
Yes,
so
I was.
Listen to me.
By the way, I was 4-year captain of my class.
I ran 3 elections. I lost 1. I won 2. So you should listen to me. I'm an authority on this.
But I'm not interested in that level of politics. So sorry, the question I'm asking is whether or not at the center, Atiku Abubakar and Rotimi Amechi has a chance. And I'd like you to let us know where the figures, where the numbers are for the ADC.
Okay, let me tell you. Look at Nigeria. Look at the demography, for instance. Look at the North. How many candidates do we have from the North? Seriously, granted. In 2023, the current president had 23.4% of the votes coming from the North because of Muslim ticket. Would he harness the same votes this time around? It's difficult. Because even the Muslim ticket itself, by expectation, I think, has it satisfied that it is for the voter to answer. So if you now come to other parts of the zones, everybody will have his day. And let me tell you, Nigerians are pained now because of the economic realities. How much does the salary we earn or people earn, what does it do some 2 years ago or 3 years ago before a subsidy removal? What does it do now? So for me, it's about the people deciding, and the realities are knocking in. And prices of goods have gone up. And in Nigeria, what goes up, it might be very difficult for it to come down.
So if you are to call it today, if you are to read do the mathematics, who do you think could win that election?
Atiku will win.
By what margin?
It might not be
8 million to 6.9 million the last time around.
It's going to be significant. And let me tell you, if the politics of incumbency, for you to run through a second term, especially with the fact that elections votes are counting now, it's going to be very difficult. Because you know what? The truth of the matter is that the realities counts. Subsidy removal, what pains has this brought to Nigeria? What is the value of the naira? What is happening with food? What is happening with insecurity? These are questions that are begging for answers. And Nigerians know the answer.
You think that the Tinubu team may not be able to surmount that conversation?
Where's the time? Where's the time? We have maybe less than 6 months to election now. So what happens? What magic will happen before then? I'm from Barutin, which of course shares the old Borgo game reserve and all that. I mean, even though the Waro people were released some time ago, another 100 has been taken from somewhere in Babana, 100 plus. So what exactly is happening? So it's like that.
So this issue will haunt Tinubu.
In Kwara South too. You know that there are abductions that have taken place there too, kidnaps and everything. So for me, I believe that insecurity is very key. Is very key. It's going to be in the conversation. Subsidy is going to be in the conversation. But then, of course, the monies that we earn, what is in our pockets? What does it buy 3 years ago? What will it buy now? So those are the questions, and I'm happy that the what they call it, the campaigns are moving to issues rather than no, you poke me, you break my leg. No, issues are the things that are being addressed now. Somebody said I can return the subsidy, and this is how I'm going to do it. Somebody said no, you cannot do it except you. So Nigerians will decide. We decide. Somebody told us honestly, what do you do to a child who tells you that you told your son that I will buy you an iPhone if you pass an exam? There's a president who told us that if he does not give us light in his first term, we should not vote in the second time. Do you have 24 hours of light? I'm sure you're using diesel here. So it's simple, it's referendum. And Nigerian people will decide who they would entrust their confidence in. And that's about leadership. And that will happen in every part of Nigeria. As for people thinking that some people will sit somewhere to write results, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult.
Why?
I have news for them. It will be bad for those who intend to do that. Every vote will count. Every vote will count. By the design we have in our party, our elections will be done on polling units. We're tired of going to courts. So let it happen in the polling units.
But this time around, ADC is resolute.
Very resolute. Very resolute. And you know, see, there are people even in the ruling party that we interact with. They are friends. We know what they tell us. So sometimes you have lost election before. Build up to that election, we know what we hear. But you would know that inside of you, if you want to go to a war, especially elections, you will know whether you will lose or you will win. Months before then, you know.
Yeah, but if there are going to be surprises sprung by Atiku and his team, which state do you think will largely give him that push?
The northern states. The northern states, because...
So it could likely be an election between Jonathan and Buhari the last time.
He will win. Atiku will win the northwest. He will win the northeast.
Even with Shetima?
Yeah. Yes, the truth of the matter is, I said, Shetima is on the ballot, but not on the ballot. I'm sorry to poke my mouth into it, as vice president, what was his impact in this government? Brilliant man, but was he allowed to work? I'm not speaking for him. Or was he allowed to work? So you can be president and not be president. So, and North Central will be a buy and buy game. Southwest, you can say, okay, the incumbent will have an upper hand, but he will lose some states. He will lose states like Oyo, he will lose like Osho. I know for a fact. Lagos will be a battleground. Lagos will be a battleground.
Now those who said that Tinubu, the greatest margin he could have, he would likely have.
Quote me that he will lose Oyo. Quote me that he will lose us. He's going to have battle in Lagos, except they intimidate people. Even if they do, I don't know what will happen. But what is very important is that this election that is coming is about issues. And it's about referendum. If exactly Nigerians are satisfied with what he's doing, then they can decide to say go. But those who are serving in government will tell you that they don't want anything to happen to him. They want you to come back. And it depends on a friend of mine who belongs to the ruling party say, look, my eyes are blind. That the things they are seeing, I'm not seeing. I say, okay, maybe because I'm in opposition.
But on the final note, Honorable Zakir Mohammed, my question will be to you tonight. You have your eyes on becoming Kwara State Governor.
Yep.
There are those who will say, what exactly is your agenda? What's your plan? What would you like to do differently? Because what the APC is saying in Kwara is that those of you in the opposition have no idea different. You've not got no better idea.
See, I don't need anybody to tell me how Kwara operates. Because the truth of the matter is that Kwara is a state that is beautifully located in the gateway between the north and the south. We have not exploited that location. Secondly, unfortunately, Kwara used to be a state of harmony where a lot of things can happen. Kwara has one of the best, the land that especially is between Baruti and Kayama. What are we doing with the land? Serious farming. Edu Patigi, what are we doing with the lands? People are already farming there. Every particular part of Kwara has one particular crop that you do or the other. So agriculture, first and foremost is security. How do we stamp our security? And you have to use technology, like some states are doing. Get a lot of drones, know where these people are located. Then you assist the conventional, forces on how they can get them. Of course, you would use your intelligence gathering too. It's very, very key, because if you see something, you say something. I believe that the political will has to be there so that you can be able to combat. No meaningful development will take place with fear.
So on the ballot today,
Yeah.
Zachary is the best candidate.
I am the best candidate, not because I'm saying it. Go and look at our resume. Go and look at the experiences we have. Who out of them was in executive and is in legislature? Maybe the speaker is in legislature now, but has he done executive? No. My brother who is in the PDP, has he? Yeah, he might have worked as a civil servant, but was he superintending over a particular agency? No. Has he gone to the parliament? No. And Kwara needs an exposed governor. What I mean exposed, not exposure as about traveling, no. Exposed to the rudiments of governance and exactly what can you do to do your government or to make it work better. And we have a lot of brilliant minds from Kwara who are everywhere in the world. You get them together. One person's idea cannot take him off. No. What is important is that we put our strongest legs forward.
Honorable Zachary Mohammed was a former spokesperson of the House of Representatives.
So somebody came here and told you that we don't have capable people in Kwara. I think it's in Kwara North. I think it's not true. You mentioned 2 ministers here. I have several other people to mention in terms of capacity. So I think that is not correct.
And you have a PhD.
Yeah, so for me, it's not about even having the letters. It's about the experience. It's about the exposure. It's about the touch, your hands on the deck. That's the truth.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much indeed. Zachary Mohammed is a former member of the House of Reps. He was spokesperson for the House of Reps, and he is now the bearer of the flag and the ticket of the APC in Kwara for the governorship race. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you once again.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
we're going to break, everyone. But when we return, Felix Moka, who is the APC National Publicity Secretary, will be joining us. There are those who have poked holes in the APC National Campaign Council list, and they have criticized that is this the best that the party can bring, and who are these people on that list, especially asking the question, can Tinubu get a re-election, and what are the issues? We'll be discussing this after this break, everyone. Join us again. Has been unveiled. A lot of issues have now been raised. There are those who have picked holes in how the campaign and some of the names or the names on the list and the names omitted. But beyond all of these are critical issues. So whether or not this team can get the job done, especially being led by a former governor of Zamfara State and the secretary being the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma. I'm being joined by the spokesperson of the APC, Mr. Felix Moka, to shed light on some of these issues. Many thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, my dear brother.
One of the issues here is a fundamental moral issue around the release of your presidential campaign council. How does the APC guarantee Nigerians that a campaign council populated by powerful serving officials will not blur the line between the Nigerian state and the Tinubu campaign?
Sean, the constitutional freedom of every individual, of every citizen, to participate in the governance processes, electoral processes of their country, trumps every consideration. You don't abridge the right of any Nigerian to participate, their right to choose, their right to vote, their right to be involved, to associate with others in making decisions that affect their country and how it's governed. That is never to be abridged. So, look, that question that you ask is secondary to the constitutional recognition of the rights of these individuals as persons under the law. Why not? Really, should be the question. Why should any Nigerian be excluded from the political process? And, Shewan, this is probably the most significant election in our lifetime so far. Because, the build-up to this election has been heavy. So, every Nigerian who chooses, who wishes to participate, should be enabled to participate. So, I don't think that's really a question that is of, the
power of the purse, the power of security issues. How do we understand that these people will not take issue of state partisan and will not affect governance?
You know, first of all, the fact that they occupy these eminent positions, you must grant them the facility that they are capable of multitasking. They're capable of performing the functions of their office while at the same time performing as, members of the Presidential Campaign Council. I don't think there's any tension that I see. There's no tension because these are individuals who, listen, what's the population of this country? So when you find yourself in the top 1% of the leadership of the country, it suggests that you actually possess the kind of skills, the kind of competence, the kind of personality, and, for that matter, political maturity to be able to actually discern between your primary job in whatever role you have, whether as Senate President or as Senate Minister, but also, as a citizen who has every constitutional freedom to participate in these processes.
Because, Mr. Moka, the issue is the dangerous line that a lot of people, and those lines could be blurry. They could be blurry to the extent that people could use the power of their offices to be able to impact on the election or the electionary process.
No, that's
if Nigerians can get a promise from your party that those who are being given a saddle with the responsibility of running the affairs of this country will not use those interests into partisanship, into campaigns, into electionary processes, and which on the rest of the Nigerian populace.
There's no country of the world. Let's leave Nigeria for a minute. There's no country of the world, whether it's the United States or Great Britain or South Africa or any country in Asia, where public officials who are either cabinet ministers or who hold significant positions do not participate or are excluded from participating in these kinds of processes. There's no country of the world. So there's no democratic idea or concept or law or precept that suggests that people who hold positions like that must be excluded. And our constitution doesn't do that. So you see, if this was, if
it's a moral issue. That's why I started with
morality.
Whether or not your party understand that sensitivity,
no,
and you're not able to rubbish the sensitivity of the Nigerian state and its governance in the mud of politics.
No, see, countries are governed by laws, and there's the reason for that, because laws are objective. They're an objective category of,
But morality is at the spine of the society.
Morality sits somewhere behind the law. Especially when you're talking about the Constitution. Morality is not a competitor to the Constitution. You don't compete with the Constitution.
But you are saying APC may be morally wrong, but legally right.
No. I'm not saying that APC is morally, justified. Because the morality is also about the personal, the essence of the humanity of these individuals. Imagine that you tell anyone who holds public office that you may not participate in the electoral process because you hold public office. There are many of them who will say, listen, I will give up my public office in order to participate. Because, see, there are some things that are transcendental. Participating in the electoral system of your country to decide, to express your God-given right to choose amongst competing alternatives who governs. That is a right that trumps even the administrative,
was this document produced by the party?
What is this?
That's the campaign council.
The campaign council
108-member list
was delivered by the All Progressives Congress, announced by officials of the,
what I'm asking?
Yes, what do you ask?
What we would imagine that the party leads the campaign.
And who says the party is not leading the campaign?
The president and the vice president and the chairman and the vice chair.
Are you privy to the conversations
on
the party side?
No, we want to know. So because one will imagine in the Second Republic, you see how things will play out. The party takes preeminence, and the candidates or those who are seeking office, they're secondary. The primary and the highest organ of any administration of the party affairs is the party. So imagine your national chairman is a vice chairman too.
What's the point?
The point is, one will imagine that the party should be leading this, not the other way around.
What precedent?
And you remember In the Second Republic, you see, just a moment. I'm imagining that things are supposed to be done right. You see the party leaders on this side of the stage, and you see the candidate, whoever you may be, governor, whatever, you see on the other side.
Why are you going back to the Second Republic? That's very distant. We had republics since the Second Republic. Why are you fascinated by the Second Republic?
Because there are those, that moment is when some people think that a lot of things were right in the administration of our political parties.
A lot of things were also fundamentally flawed by the Second Republic. Let's not, romanticize the Second Republic.
We pick some of the things that are right.
Look, something.
So you think this is perfect?
Is it perfect? First of all, don't forget that Mr. President is the leader of the All Progressives Congress. That I think is, undisputable. He's the leader of the party.
He's the candidate of the party.
He's the candidate of the party, but also the leader of the party.
By that way, the tool in the hands of the party.
No,
the party owns the candidate. The party owns the structure.
That I think
the party gave President Bola Tinubu the ticket.
That is
he is at the BS of the party.
That is a no-brainer.
Not above the party.
That is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yet he's the leader of the party.
The number one man in your party is your national chairman. Do you agree?
See, listen. We can't come here to begin to quibble about the structure and the essence of the structure of our party. I just told you, the national chairman, Professor, Yuwada, will not tell you he's the leader of the party. The leader of the party is quite different from the national chairman of the party. That I think is universal. It's acknowledged. I'm not saying anything that's new. But the point I'm making is that you cannot also come and discount the relevance and the vitality of the leadership of the party. Now, the party, with its leadership in forming or naming a campaign council, is done in close consultation. Now, if the party, like we've done, decided that Mr. President will be chairman of the party, that's our prerogative to decide. We're not liable to, conforming with any type of standards, especially that of the ADC, that has yet to announce their own campaign council. Because, a lot of this, conversation is, has been,
Senator Abdulaziz Yari, is that a joker to become the DG of the campaign?
What do you mean by joker?
Well, I'm asking.
Senator Yari
what is significance?
Eminently qualified to serve as DG of this presidential campaign council. He was a former governor. He's a serving senator.
What informed the choice?
What informed the choice? His competence, his versatility, his ability to be restless in mobilizing Nigerians, to work for the party. The party is we're in an electoral war mode. An election is a heavily contested program. So, you want to enlist all of those who have the stamina, the energy, the enthusiasm to compete. Senator Yari is one of those citizens who has been named as.
You're going into the campaign, Mr. Moka, and you're asking, simply you're telling Nigerians that please give President Bola Tinubu another shot at leading this country for another 4 years.
Correct.
And I'm going to ask, on what basis are you going to say that? That he has performed, or he has yet to perform, or he will perform, or he's given a chance that whether he can repair what has not worked? On what basis?
On the basis that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has outperformed any president in his first term, has outperformed any democratically elected president in this country.
What are the indicators
in their first term? The indicators
are,
you see, I'm surprised you're asking this question. The, indicators are, res ipsa loquitur, as we say in law. They speak for themselves. This president inherited an economy that was, completely in a mess.
From another APC.
No, don't be in a hurry, my dear brother.
No, but that's
hang on. Yeah. I will answer you. Has been in a mess from generational causation. And I think on this show, I've said this repeatedly, that President Buhari was the stopgap president that really came to, keep the country from tipping over the precipice of 16 years of, horrific maladministration of the PDP government. Yes, President Buhari served his term. did his job to hold the country still for President Tinubu to enter. And now enter President Tinubu. This president has taken the economy that was where it was and transformed Nigeria to a point now where even critics like Madam Obi Ezekwesili now formally accept that you must give the flowers to this president for really taking Nigeria from where it was to where it is today, where Nigeria now on the macroeconomic level has fixed a lot of the serious flaws and faults that this president inherited as president, and which sets the stage for what now promises to be a remarkable return of our country on a path of sustainable progress and prosperity, going forward on a microeconomic level. You see, these things, it's not just about the World Bank and the IMF and all the rating agencies, even those who...
It's not about them.
No, it's not.
You don't care about the facts.
No. It's not just about
Not
them.
about the data, not about the figures.
My point is that it's not just about them. It's not just about what they say. Because all of them, I think, are unanimous in commending and applauding this administration for the fantastic job this president has done. But I'm saying that even local, domestic Nigerian critics, I was completely astounded when I listened to Obi. I mean, I heard her remarks saying that you must grant this president that facility to say this, president has done very well on a macroeconomic level. Now you see, everything is about gestation. Macroeconomics is related to microeconomics. And you can't fix your microeconomics without fixing your macroeconomics. This president, I don't think there's anyone in this country who seriously will contend today that we have come out of the woods on a macroeconomic level. And we are now working on the nitty-gritty of the macroeconomics, bread and butter issues to fix that.
Data can make you and data can mar you. But just a moment. Yes. How does a governing party campaign on reform success when by the World Bank's assessment, roughly 6 in 10 Nigerians are living below the national poverty line? What do you tell these poor people? And the people that said about 37% of our population are hungry, cannot feed themselves.
Can I ask you, can you check your system, your computer, and pull up the figures pre-2015? How many Nigerians were living in poverty? Pull up the figures and tell me. You see, we can be dramatic all you want. We can just throw numbers around and frame issues that appear to be, really confounded. But the fact of the matter is that, and the truth of the matter, and I'm not saying this lightly, because, as you know my background, as a veteran human rights lawyer and activist, I can tell you, I fought governments in this country. But the reason I devoted my youth fighting governments was because these governments did not. Poverty was excruciating, has always been excruciating. And today, we are coming up with a system where a president is beginning to get a handle. He didn't seek to be populist, to do what Nigerians wanted to hear, to just simply appease Nigerians and score political points, like Atiku Abubakar is trying to do, with his promise to return Nigeria to the horrendous, really devious.
Because his conversation, Atiku's conversation is that whatever policy that the Bola Tinubu government has put in place in terms of free subsidy removal and how he went about it, it's made more Nigerians poor. And the question that a lot of Nigerians might be asking is, when Bola Tinubu met them before May 28, 2023, and now, has their lives been better or made better? That's a question and if any person will be asking.
No.
So the question I'm asking, can you tell Nigerians and look them in the face, Mr. Moka, as a spokesperson of the ruling party, that Nigerians' lives are better today than it was before President Bola Tinubu took office?
I will look at the camera straight on and
you will not lie.
I won't speak to you. Shehu, you know me, I don't lie.
That's what I'm saying. So
No.
if you're able to say the truth.
Shehu, I'm Felix Moka. You know, I've never come on your show. You never, caught me in a lie. So I'm not going to start now. Fact of the matter is that this president on day one told Nigerians that things will be tough. Things have been tough. But like anyone who understands the whole logic of renovation, when you renovate your house, first you make a mess. You fix things. You recreate what was in order to make it better. This president has demonstrated political will that no other president has demonstrated to tackle Nigeria's aging problems at its roots. Today, this country is on the threshold, on the cusp of renewal, on the cusp of the kind of transformation that is, unparalleled in the history of our country. Presidents have come and gone. But, President Jonathan was the president. President Yar'Adua was president. President Obasanjo was president.
And you say Bola Tinubu is better than all of them put together.
You know what?
No, that's what you said on this program.
Shewan, let me tell you. I am not naming names of presidents.
But you said it's
but
better
I can
than
tell you,
all the presidents.
I can tell you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I say that and I double down on that when this is all said and done, that this president will emerge the most, honest, the most candid, the most effective president this country has seen in our republics, in our civilian republics. And I say that without equivocation, because you know what? All of the presidents you mentioned who came before him all romanced the problem, the festering wound of this country, didn't lift a finger to do
What do you say to the failures of this government?
To the what?
To the failures of this government.
To the failures.
In the policies and the deliverables.
What failures? Tell me.
The many killings that we have seen.
Killings?
Yeah, the microeconomic side that they said, oh, we're still working on it, it will take shape, but it hasn't taken shape yet.
But you understand, and I'm sure you ask this question because you are a veteran journalist, you ask on behalf of those
the people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not because you don't understand it, but let me tell Nigerians, when you come into a system, macroeconomics is the superstructure of an economy. That's where it happens. It is the macroeconomic conditions that give rise to conditions on a microeconomic level. Now, if you don't fix your macroeconomics like this president is fixing, you can never, not today, not tomorrow, not ever, have microeconomic conditions that are favorable to the people, to our people, that this president really took an oath to serve. So my point to you is that the president is doing exactly what he was elected to do, to fix the problem at its roots. And I think globally, I just referenced, every Nigerian who, is capable of objectivity has said that this president has done enormously well. And I don't think that's in dispute. Nigerians are listening. Yeah. If you see a lot of the Vox Populi, the Vox, if you will, whatever, that every Nigerian who has been asked have said that Atiku Abubakar is simply, appealing to just populist sentiments.
All right.
When he says he's going to return subsidy. Because, Shewan, I want to watch a show where you will bring His Excellency, former Vice President, to this show to ask him exactly just a simple question. How exactly do you plan to pay for the subsidy that you have told Nigerians you will return, assuming you're elected? I know he's not going to get elected because Nigerians know better than to elect a man who is simply speaking, to the air.
Thank you. I think that we need more debate over these policies. But I need you to think about the Hatch Act in the U.S. That bars or restrict some public officials. I know the Secretary of Treasury, the Secretary of Defense, the Attorney General in the U.S. are not. They are restricted in some ways in partisan and in party conventions. In fact, Hillary Clinton, in almost 4 decades in the U.S., missed the Democratic convention because at the time she was sitting as the Secretary of State. So I needed, and that's why I asked the moral question, and whether Nigerians can trust your party, that those who are holding those sensitive roles in government will not be partisan in the course of this election.
What do you mean partisan? What do you mean partisan? You see, a lot of cabinet officials are appointed by the president. Yeah. They're not civil servants. They're appointees. They're political appointees. Political appointees. So when you appoint an individual to serve in any capacity, a political appointment that is at the discretion, at the prerogative of the president, such an individual serves as it does. And their constitutional right, like I said earlier.
We listen to the Nigerian people too. We listen to the Nigerian people. I'll put the issues there.
Yeah. So, that's what it is.
spokesperson of the APC. It's going to be an interesting next few weeks and months. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much.
That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. God bless Nigeria.